This is story of Heejun and Hang. Both are struggling in their life, but Heejun always regrets why he never tried to fix Hang's life. This same guilt brings his written letter 34 years back, when both were 19 years old. Drama starts in year 2026. Almost 50 years old man Jing is sitting near a mailbox, waiting for a letter. He is coming here since last 2 months. Security guard always tells him that this era is not of letters, but he never listens because he has Alzheimer. So his daughter Nyen always has to take him back home again and again. On top of that, their apartment will be demolished very soon. For this reason, people also come to take signature of owner, his dad, on paper. Nyen wants to take him to Beijing, but one day he leaves a note behind and disappears. In note it was written, "You go to Beijing. I have to finish one work. After that I will come myself." She checks CCTV footage with officers, and there her dad is seen going towards that factory. But officers say he was not found anywhere there. Then security guard tells her shocking thing. Last night her dad came here, broke the door, put a letter in mailbox, and disappeared. Even the letter also went missing. Only one orange cat was seen there. She doesn't believe his word. But when again that same cat comes, just after it goes away, a letter appears from mailbox. That letter was of Hang, written in 1991. It was not normal letter, it was a suicide note. Now scene shows year 1951, Mevin Town. Chadong collects money from debtors. He works under Bao. With Chadong are 2 boys. One is Hao and second is our male lead Heejun. He grew up in an orphanage, but at 14 years old he ran away. Then Chadong gave him food and roof to hide. These people are collecting money to buy a boat, so they can leave this work. They get one task from Bao, to take money from one man, Ibo. He had taken loan for his mother's treatment. When they reach his house, only his daughter Hang is there, because she is doing her grandmother's funeral. They don't find her father, so they take her grandmother's money as security. While leaving they tell her, "Tell your father, return our money soon." In this kind of work, sometimes they also get beaten when any debtor turns out to be gang member. Their hideout is a place where billiards is played. Upstairs is a department shop owned by Hong, who is disabled in leg. Hao likes in and secretly watches her. Bao comes to know Chadong failed to collect from Ibo, so Bao gives this work to his other man Chung, whose way is more brutal. Next day, Heejun comes to new high school. Teacher Kin, who is teacher there, knows Chadong, and she doesn't want Heejun to become like him, so she asks him to complete his school. Even Chadong himself wants Heejun's future to be different. In class where Heejun comes, same class Hang also studies. During break, she asks him to return her grandmother's money and threatens that if he doesn't, she will tell teacher. But he says he doesn't have that money. In school, we also see Hang's friend Yulan. Hang does part-time job in a bookstore. Her boss tells her to prepare one event where anyone can write a letter to their future self. Basically, it is a scheme to sell more stationery. She is putting board outside shop when a cartman passes and asks for cardboard boxes. In his cart, same orange cat is sitting, which we saw near mailbox. Next day, suddenly that red color mailbox also appears near shop. Boss is surprised from where it came suddenly. Hang remembers. This mailbox was in that cart. Boss also gives her one letter, found in mailbox, on her name. She reads it, and later after collecting class fund, she gets angry on Heejun, thinking he wrote that letter. But he says, "I didn't write any letter." Then in class, bad boy Shin takes that letter from Hang's bag and loudly reads it, telling everyone this is love letter Heejun wrote to Hang. Both return to class and see this. Heejun kicks Shin and snatches letter from his hand, but Hang grabs it and tears it. Teacher Kin comes, calls both to office. All blame goes on Heejun, because his past record is also bad. In middle school, also he was doing fight, so maybe this time also he is troubling Hang. Heejun says he didn't write this, even if handwriting looks like his, but he doesn't know about this letter. Then in school comes Hang's dad Ibo. He apologizes to teacher, blaming his daughter, and says he will teach her good manner. Even to Heejun he says, "From now don't do this kind of thing." After everyone leaves, Heejun picks torn pieces of letter from dustbin and read. In that it was written, "Hi dang, nobody knows our life better than us. I wanted to free you from that pain, but I didn't know unknowingly I opened another hell for you, even more painful than that." Hang's dad beats her, saying, "You are also same cheap like your mother. She ran away with another man, and you at this age are doing this." Then from her bag, he also takes her part-time job salary money to gamble. Along with that, he also takes her class fund money and runs away. Meanwhile, Hao also reads that letter and thinks Haitang herself wrote it to take revenge on Hee-jun. But Hee-jun doesn't think so. As much as he knows her, she doesn't look like that kind of person. But he is afraid she may tell teacher Kim that he took her grandmother's money from her house. So he goes to her house to return money. At that time, Haitang is writing letter to her future self. She writes she tried a lot, but now she cannot tolerate anymore. She also wants to go to her grandmother. She picks up knife, puts that letter in mailbox. That same cat is standing there. Here, when Hee-jun comes to her house, he sees everything broken. He runs towards gambling place where her father always stays. Haitang also reaches gambling den and is going to kill her father. But just then Hee-jun stops her, drags her away and says, "You are mad. For that man you are going to destroy your whole life." She says, "Yes, I cannot live. Then don't I have right to die?" He explains her. With that knife, he wouldn't die. At most, he would get injured. But your whole life would be wasted behind bars in jail. Then, what was the use of your education? Meanwhile, at police station, her father is acting drama, saying after grandmother's death, her mental state is bad. She is doing random things. Otherwise, if he tells that she tried to kill him, then police would ask reason, and maybe he himself would go inside jail. Hearing all this, Haitang again tries to attack him. But Hee-jun tells officer, "She studies in my class. Normally, she doesn't do like this. She just needs some sleep." Then he takes her away. She angrily asks him, "Do I also look mad to you?" He says, "No, but I said that to take you out from there." Then he explains, "One day or another, you will come out from this mess. You are so good in study. Just wait till you go university. After that, you don't even need to see this place." She says, "I also thought like this. But that man took class fund also. Now how I will show my face to teacher and whole class." He says, "Don't worry for that. I will tell teacher that I took the money." Then he goes to drop her at home. There he sees cigarette butts on ground and asks, "Your dad smokes?" She says, "No, he understands then Bao's men are around." So he holds her hand and starts running. At same time, Chung and others also chase them. But somehow Hee-jun saves her and takes her to his home. Otherwise, if she had gone to her home, then Chang's men would trouble her, and on top of that her dad's fear also. Outside, he brings bandage, medicine, shampoo, and some food for her, and then goes to sleep at the tape shop. There Hao came to take noodles. Chang and his men also come there. They make fun of Jinju's limp and talk about playing with her respect. Hao gets angry and beats Chung badly, and also Hao himself gets beaten. Now the year 2026. Officers call Nyen to the police station to write her dad's information. The shocking thing is, Ziyong, which was her dad's name, was actually a prisoner who died in jail 20 years ago. That means her dad was living with a fake identity. While checking her dad's room, she finds a tin box. Inside were many train tickets to Puxi and a postcard with Hang's name, the same name that was in the letter. She checks the handwriting of both. It was same. She sees Hang's address in that letter and searches online. Nevin Town is in Puxi City. At the same time, Xiaoyu, who is Hang's son, has just returned from England for his mother's surgery because she had a medical condition, but she is not at home. He gets a call from officers. They tell him that his mother's car was found in a lonely mountain area, standing there since some days, but no one was inside, and he is not able to reach his mom. Back to 1991. When Hee-jun comes home, Hang has already left. She has come to school to tell her teacher that she forgot to bring the school fund. There Shin is telling the whole class the exaggerated story of how Hang hit her dad. When Hee-jun looks at him with deadly eyes, he shuts his mouth. Then Hang's dad comes to school, spoiling his daughter's image. With a fake bandage, he tells how his daughter attacked him for that boy, and how she didn't come home all night, staying with that boy. She tells him to leave, but he throws more dirt on her image. Hee-jun punches him hard. He starts blaming the school system and crying that he works day and night to collect money for his daughter's education. Even he couldn't treat his own injury. So principal, to save the school's image, gives him money for treatment, and tells teacher Kim to suspend both. But Hee-jun requests teacher Kim that if someone has to be suspended, suspend me, not Hang, because it was not her fault. While leaving, he even gives the class fund money from his own pocket. When Hang comes to know about Hee-jun's suspension, she goes to Kim and says it was not his fault. "If you want, then expel me." But Kim says, "What about your college? If you want to ruin your future, then go." Anyway, he is suspended only for 1 week. Hee-jun also gets beaten by Cha-dong for being suspended. Hao is also scolded for hitting Chung. Then Hee-jun comes to Hang with some food and tells her not to feel bad for him. Anyway, he was not interested in going to school. Hang gives him the class fund money back from her salary. Even when he refuses, she forces him to take it. So he also returns her grandma's money. He also gives his address and phone number and tells her to call anytime if needed. Hee-jun keeps that letter with the tip and reads it again and again. He feels as if he himself has written it. Also, every night he guards near Hang's house. Year 2026. Nyen also comes to Pushi. At the police station, she tells she is Hang's relative to get information, but they can't give to a far relative. When she is leaving, Chin comes to file his mother's missing case. The officer tells him that just now someone came to ask about his mother, so he approaches Nyen. When Nyen learns that his mother is also missing, she tells that she was searching for Hang because of her missing dad, and both went missing the same day. Chin suspects Nyen that she has hidden his mom somewhere. From their talk, police understands that surely both elders have gone to solve some matter. Nyen tells Chin she wants to see his house once. There she sees the same tin box in his mother's room, which was with her dad. Chin doesn't know about it because after his parents' divorce, he lived with his dad in England. He doesn't believe Nyen's words at all. Still, he goes with her to her city. Back again to 1991. Chadong brings Nizan and how to Bao to settle the matter. Bao beats his own men for being defeated by Chadong's men and tells Chadong, "I have taught my men a lesson. Don't you think you should also do the same?" He doesn't want more trouble, so he beats both. Then the phone rings. It was Hang calling, but the phone is cut. Even after beating, Bao is not satisfied. For Chang's leg injury, he says one of Chadong's boys should also get leg injury. So Chadong, to end the matter, gives his saved boat money. Then Bao's more men come with sticks and beat the three badly. Hang had called to tell that the letter she wrote to her future self was missing from mailbox. Even though she had the key, she doesn't understand who stole it. At home, her dad wants to sell a house in her grandma's name. She says she will never allow that. So Aibo beats her badly. Hao's injury makes Jinju cry a lot. Haitang also comes to Hee-jun's den. Seeing his condition, she goes to his home and sees him injured from head to toe. She applies medicine on his wound. While seeing her hand injury, he asks, "Did Aibo hit you again?" She says yes. He goes to gambling den to warn Aibo. If he hurts Hang one more time, he will not spare him, and he will tell Bao's men about his hideout. After he leaves, some people come to Aibo. At night, Hang sees Aibo leaving the house in a hurry. Next day, Hee-jun comes to her house, asking why she called. She tells that the letter she wrote is missing. She has doubt because from same mailbox, Hee-jun's love letter was also found. Then Teacher Kin comes to Chadong's den to call Hee-jun back to school. Chadong also tells Hee-jun to go back and complete his studies, and tells Hao and him not to come here for some time. Hee-jun decides to use this time to catch the letter thief. With Haitong's name, he puts an empty letter in the mailbox and sits far to watch. But thief doesn't come. Night becomes late. Haitang also feels sleepy, so he tells her to go. But Hang also tells him to take some rest. In school, Shin still troubles Hang, but her friend fully supports her. Next day also both sit, watching mailbox. 3 days pass, letter is still there. While sitting, Haidang tells him that the paper of that letter was from the box store where she works. Surely that person comes to her store. Now year 2026. Nyen brings Chin near that mailbox, also tells everything to the security guard, but still he doesn't believe anything. Just then that cat comes, and security guard snatches Hang's letter from Chen's hand and puts it in the mailbox. And here Hee-jun and Hang also see the same cat near the mailbox. She sees it, and when they open it, Hang's letter is there. And here in 2026, the letter which guard just now put inside is gone. Hee-jun checks the whole mailbox inside and outside, but nothing is wrong. He cannot believe his own eye. Hang understands that this mailbox can only transfer letters between both of them. Hee-jun says if this is true, then we must find out who is doing this, so we must write a letter. Here in 2026, Chin still thinks this is a magic trick that Nyen and the security guard are doing together to fool him. Chin cannot handle Nyen, so she goes home. But behind her, Chin searches her house, thinking maybe she hid his mother, but the room is empty. Nyen tells him that her dad had written he has some work to do, but she has no idea what that work is. Both cannot understand their parents' connection. Nyen asks him about his mom and dad's divorce. He says when he was 10 years old, his dad went abroad, but his mom wanted to stay here. When he asks about her mother, she tells him that her mother died giving her birth. So they start thinking maybe their parents had some relationship once. Nyen gets the idea that if we are receiving letters, then we can also send letters. What if your mother Haidang is the one writing. He says okay, then he will mail. Here Haidang writes a letter in her name to the other side, asking about that love letter. They try to send the letter, but it does not go. Hang says when I wrote that letter and when the letter came to us, it was at midnight, and the cat was also there. So maybe these are the conditions for the letter. So they decide to send the letter tomorrow at midnight. Here in 2026, Nien gives some other items to test if they can also pass with the letter or not. In 1991, it becomes the next day, and at 12 midnight both of them put letters inside. Haitong's letter goes, but Chen's does not, because he didn't write anything inside, and only the paper with bookstore's mark can pass. He put blank paper just to test, and now he is calling them liars. But when he tries to take out the items again, he sees Hang's letter, and he is shocked. In that letter it was written, "My name is Hang. I received one love letter in front of Sunshine Bookstore. My letter also disappeared from mailbox, and then suddenly last night I got this. Do you also know something about this?" Now Chen also understands that this mailbox is connecting two timelines. Here Hee-jun apologizes to teacher Kin for last time, and says he wants to return to school. He also goes to talk with Chadong, who locked himself in pool hall, not meeting him or how. We come to know they were in a relationship before, but then Chadong started working for Bao, so Shoyu broke up with him. When Chadong took this pool hall, he thought everything will be fine, but nothing happened. Shoyu tells him, "They beat you, so will you sit here silently? Broken things can be repaired, humans can heal, lost money can be earned again." So she gives him M. Then Chadong calls Hao and Hee-jun and tells them they will stop working with Bao, repair this hall, and earn money from this, and then buy a boat to do their own business. So after dinner tonight, they were going to start repair work. That is why he cannot go to bookstore. Here in 2026, Nien thinks the letter had date of September 1991, so why not tell about the water sport incident that happened in Mevin Town that month, and ask if it is going to happen. This way Hang will believe they are really from future. Chin calculates, 9 days have passed in Hang's letter, but here only 4 days. That means their time is moving faster. So maybe by the time letter reaches, the accident time will already pass. But Nien is ready to take this chance, and at sharp 12 she mails the letter. Here Haidang receives it. She shows Hee-jun. Both read it. It was written, "My name is Nien. I received your letter from Red Mailbox in Baisheng. I am writing from November 12th, 2026. If you are from 1991, then you can verify an accident which is about to happen." She tells about the water sport incident, which will happen on September 23rd. She also says I did not write the love letter and asks, "Do you know Jiang?" Hee-jun starts thinking maybe Jiang wrote that love letter, but Haidang does not know anyone by that name. Now they had to wait till 23rd. Hee-jun sits at home, looking at the signature in that love letter. He writes the whole letter again with his own hand and shows Hang. The handwriting matches, even the style of signature. He understands. This love letter was written by his own future self. Now shown 2026. Before Nien's dad disappeared, he was helping that same street vendor whom Haidang helped in 1991. And in that vendor's cart also was the same red mailbox. Now Hee-jun is thinking, in 2026, I must be over 50 years old. Then why would I write this love letter? And why suddenly this is happening? Cannot understand. But Haidang says it started since that mailbox appeared near the bookstore, in the vendor's cart. Hee-jun says I also saw it outside Hang's house. Here Nien gets a call from police. They found an old man. Maybe her dad. She runs there with Chin. But that old man was not her dad. She feels like crying. Why did she mention Beijing trip? Who knows in what condition her dad is? He cannot even remember his name properly. Here Hee-jun with Haidang goes to recycling den to check about that old man. But by the description of his steps and age, no such old man works there. Next scene, we see Hee-jun with Chadong and Hao repairing. Then Bao's men come with work. But Chadong clearly says from now on they will not work for Bao. After they leave, Shoyu comes with Haitang and puts 2 conditions for Hee-jun to return to school. First, he must focus on studies completely, and Haitang will tutor him. Second, he must stop hanging with gangsters. From tomorrow, he will go to school. So at night, Haitang comes to his home to cut his hair so that he looks a little decent. During this, she tells him not to fight with Shin in school, and if he doesn't understand anything in studies, ask her. She asks him about his future goal, but he says, people like us earn daily and eat daily. We don't have goals. She tells about herself, what encourages her to move forward. She says her goal is to go to college. Her grandma gave her that house and told her when she goes to college, she can sell it and live far away. So she says, why don't we both go to college together? When he drops her at home, before going inside, she gives him the same postcard that Nien had found in her dad's room. On it were written good luck wishes. He tells her, tomorrow I will come to pick you up. We will go to school together. But at night, someone hits her head with a stick. Next morning, Hee-jun waits outside her house, but she does not come. She is not at school either. Actually, Aibo has tied her up. Hee-jun asks Shoyu why Hang didn't come to school. Shoyu says she took sick leave, and her dad came in the morning to say that. Hee-jun runs to her house, but no one is there. He calls the factory where Aibo worked, but they say he also took leave. So Hee-jun goes to the police to file a complaint. The police say maybe he took her to a mental hospital. Last time he was saying his daughter is not mentally well. And really, Aibo is taking his daughter to admit her in the asylum, so he can sell the house when she is gone. But at the right time, Hee-jun comes and beats Aibo badly. Aibo keeps shouting that his daughter is mad. She even attacked him, and now this boy is helping her. He runs away after saying this. Hae-dang falls in Hee-jun's arms and cries loudly. She tells him that Aibo always called her mother characterless. Whenever she spoke with any man, he suspected and beat her. Slowly, he started gambling, and whenever he lost money, he hit his wife. One day, she ran away, taking factory funds too. At least that's what he said. So, to pay for her mother's treatment and the house expenses, Hae-dang took death. People thought Aibo was a good man, giving loans and helping others. That's the image he created. That's why no one believed her. Instead, everyone thought she was crazy because her mother left. Hee-jun also tells his story. He didn't know his dad. When he was 4, his mom also left him. He starved, then was sent to an orphanage, managed by Shoyu's mother. That's why Shoyu always told him to study. He also wanted to, but in school, children bullied him. He lost control and hit them back, so they sent him to a reform school. Shoyu was the one who introduced him to Cha-dong. That's why she blames herself for his life turning out like this. About Hao too, his dad was a murderer. When he went to jail, the village insulted Hao and his mom. She couldn't take it and died. Cha-dong was uneducated, so he couldn't get a proper job and started working with Bao. Now Hang understands she is not the only unlucky one. Many others also suffer. Hee-jun tells her, "I just want you to live a good life. That day when you came to my house searching for me, I felt what family means. So, will you be my family?" She says yes. After that, she teaches him tuition, and he teaches her to ride a bicycle. They also go to the sea and have fun together. Slowly, the day of September 23rd comes. They both go to the dock, and exactly at the time Nyen told, the water phenomenon happens. She writes back, "Yes, it really happened. I don't know Jiang, and I don't know Baisheng City. I only know letters come at midnight, and the cat is also there." Chung tells Nyen, this mailbox is connecting 2 timelines. Maybe others also know about it. Maybe there are more than just 2 mailboxes. But first, he wants to confirm if this Hang is his real mother. So he plans to write a question that only he and his mom would know. Later, we see him at the mailbox. Then he goes to Nyen and says, "I'm going back to Pushi. Police found a woman's body in the river, about 50 to 60 years old. They say it could be my mom." Cheng goes to verify. Nyen also goes. When they bring the body out, Chung says police told him there was a man in the passenger seat of her car. It looked like Nyen's dad. So Chung goes to tell the police maybe Nyen's dad killed his mom. Nyen cries and says, "My dad can never do this." But Chung doesn't listen. She quickly calls her friend Jia and tells her, "In my absence, keep checking near the mailbox. Especially try to find my dad." Then police call Nyen for questioning. They show her Hang's car photo and ask if the man in the back seat is her dad. She says no. Then police show her documents proving her real dad died in 2004 in jail due to illness. The man living with her all this time was an imposter. Meanwhile, Mion also goes near the mailbox and tells the guard to put up missing person posters nearby. Back in 1991, Hang sees some men in her house. They say this house is theirs now because her dad borrowed money and kept this house as a mortgage. Since he didn't repay, they are taking it. She says, "This house is not Aibo's, it's mine." But they don't listen. Hee-jun picks up a knife and shouts, "Leave right now. Whoever gave you money, go ask him back. This house is not his." Scared, the men run away. Hang brings house papers and tells Hee-jun, "Take them. I don't want those men coming again and you risking your life." But he says, "As long as I am alive, no one can take this house." She says, "But for me, you matter more than this house." Then she tricks Aibo into coming and makes him sign a paper saying he has no relation with her anymore. In return, she will give him the house. She says, "First, I want freedom from this relation." Aibo wanted both the house and Hang to ruin her life, but she stays firm. Finally, he signs, and she gets her freedom. She packs her important things, books, and her grandma's belongings, and goes to live with Hee-jun. That house now becomes theirs. She sleeps inside. He sleeps outside because there's only one bed. At night, Hee-jun goes to Hao and asks about a shop for good clothes because Hang didn't bring any from her house. Next day, a child looks inside the mailbox for a cat. The store owner shows him, There's no cat inside. They open the mailbox and find many letters people had written to their future self. The owner takes them and puts them in another store. At school, Shin writes a petition letter to kick Hee-jun out, but Hang stands against him. She asks everyone, has Hee-jun ever troubled any of you? No one answers. She tears the petition paper and tells Shin to stop bullying in school. After school, they both check the mailbox, but no letter has come from 2026. Later, Hee-jun goes with how to buy simple, elegant clothes for Hang. Hang brings home an old bed from the store. When she sees the new dresses bought for her and the hidden love behind them, her face lights up. She tries the dress and shows him. Then both of them enjoy the rain together, go to school together, repair the hall, and finally open the billiard hall. Everyone comes. They take photos, eat food, and celebrate. Next day, they will officially open the shop. But at night, Bao arrives with his men and says, from now on, this hall belongs to me. She reads the letter, but what Rong wrote is not shown. In 2026, police ask Nyen since when that fake man was living in her house. They say her dad was jailed in 2001 and she was born in 2002. Nyen says she was told her dad was a truck driver. Her grandma also lived with them and she always called him her son. Then another officer shows Captain the fingerprint report. Those fake Jeong's prints were matching with a criminal named Hee-jun. Now it is shown how Hang fixed Hee-jun's birthday. One day they were walking on the road. In a shop, Hang liked one showpiece. Hee-jun wanted to buy it for her, but she refused such useless spending. She said, give me on my birthday. When she asked his birthday, he said he didn't even know it. He had forgotten even the day he came to the village. So Hang declares today as his birthday and promises that every year she will stay with him on this day. In next scene, Hee-jun is holding a knife with blood. He tells Hang to go away. He wants to take all blame on himself, but Hang says, they wanted to kill us. We didn't do anything wrong. We will face this together. Still, he runs to police station and accepts the crime. He gets arrested. Hang also comes behind him and says she will give statement. Those people wanted to kill them. But Hee-jun says, no. She did nothing. Only I was there. Then Hee-jun gets punished. Hang comes many times to meet him in jail, but he refuses. She sends many letters, but he never replies. Finally, he sends one letter to stop her from coming again. He writes, you should be in school. Study, go to college, live your life well. Then my sacrifice will not go away. So Hang studies hard, gives 12th exam again, and gets admission in college. She comes to jail to give this news, but prisoners were already shifted. And they don't tell where. She loses him forever. By 1995, Hang is in Pushi, doing volunteer work in orphanage, feeling close to Hee-jun that way. One day, Hao comes and tells her Hee-jun died in jail because of illness. He even shows his grave. After this, Hang almost breaks down. She goes near the sea, walking into deep water. But she remembers Hee-jun's words, for me, you must live. Actually, Hee-jun was alive, serving sentence in jail. In 2005, he is released. He meets Hao, who now runs a food stall with family. Hao tells him even Cha-dong went to jail, but later bought his boat. Hao gives Hang's number and says she visits Hee-jun's grave every year. But Hee-jun doesn't want to call, because for Hang, he is dead. Still, he goes to his grave and sees fresh flowers and cake. The sweeper says a girl comes here every year same day. He remembers Hang's promise about birthday. He eats cake and cries. Finally, he calls that number. A child picks up. Hang's voice asks who's call, and the child says, Mom. When Hang takes phone and says hello, Hee-jun quietly hangs up. He believes Hang now has her own family. Later, he visits Jeong's house, because Jeong had once asked him. He sees Jeong's old mother and little daughter. That girl calls him Dad. She is Nyen. Grandma never told her dad was in jail. She said he was a truck driver. Hee-jun sees Grandma very sick, so he doesn't reveal truth. He becomes her son and Nyen's dad. He works in shipyard, raises Nyen with education. Every year on his fake birthday, he goes to Pushi and watches Hang from far away, leaving Nyen with his neighbor who likes him, but he refuses marriage. Years pass. Hang also never stops. Every year she comes to his room with cake, wishing him happy birthday, crying and saying she is living for him. Both grow old, full of regret. In 2026, Chung finds a letter in his mom's box, written by Hee-jun from jail to Hang. He brings it to Nyen. Near the mailbox, Myeon cat is sitting. Guard tells her to rest. Suddenly, the cat meows, and a letter comes out. It is actually Hang's reply, the one Rong had asked. He sends a picture to Nyen. She shows it to Chung. The phrase inside was only something Hang's mother used to say. Now they know the 1991 Hang is really Nyen's mom. So Chung writes a letter, asking Hang to stay away from Hee-jun to save her life. At 12 o'clock, he sends it, but Nyen tells him, My dad could never hurt Hang. Still, he doesn't listen. At police station, they hear locals say fake Hee-jun was a good man. Officers tell Chung, the man with you is Hee-jun, a murderer. But because of his good behavior, he was sent to Hee-jun's cell. They became friends. When Hee-jun was dying, maybe he asked Hee-jun to take care of his mother and daughter. Chung also thinks, if a man can become father and son for strangers just to take care of them, was he really a bad man? Chung asks, how can you say this with so much confidence? She replies, because both of them were my students. After Hee-jun went to jail, he sent me a letter. He didn't want Hang's life to stop because of him, so he requested me to help her take exams again. When they ask, who is the one that died? She says, I heard the name, but I forgot. They ask if those two were close to anyone else. She tells them about how Hee-jun's childhood friend. She saw him some years ago. Maybe still lives in Pushi, but she is not sure. They ask for contact number. She says she will check at home and give if she finds. Now in 1991, Hee-jun reads Chang's letter. It says Hang's son wrote it, warning her that danger will come in future, and she must stay away from a boy named Hee-jun. Hee-jun is shocked reading this. The surname is Shin. He only knows one Shin, the school bully. He cannot understand how Hang's son can be this Shin. Hang is also confused, because that phrase in letter was something only she and her mom knew. Even this Chung knows it, so he cannot be lying. Both of them spend the night restless, without sleep. Next day, heavy rain leaks through their roof. Hee-jun is already upset from letter and now gets angry. Hang calms him, says, don't worry, I will write them back. Hee-jun says, if in future, because of me you face danger, then if anything happens, you must run away. If I stay alive, I will find you. Hang says, no, I will never leave. They go out to buy something. Near the bookstore, the mailbox is missing. Hang asks boss. He says maybe heavy rain washed it away. Hee-jun searches everywhere near pond, but cannot find it. Without that mailbox, they cannot send letters anymore. Meanwhile, Hao is worried about the pool hall because Bao's eyes are on it. Chadong doesn't want Hao, Jinju, or Hee-jun involved, so he tells Hao not to come for some time and inform Hee-jun too. Next day, Chung comes with his men, finds the hall closed. Jinju is working at food stall with her grandma, and Hao helps them. One day, when Jinju is alone, Chang's men pour dirty water on her, threaten her. If Hao and others don't listen, next time will be worse. In bookstore, Chang and his gang do hooliganism. Hang tries to call police, but owner stops her, afraid for his family. He gives money to send gang away for now and tells Hang not to come again. At night, when Hee-jun returns, Hang tells him about bookstore incident. He gets angry, wants to fight, but she calms him. They just want to provoke you. Hee-jun promises not to act on impulse. Later, Chadong returns to pool hall. Chang follows. Chadong tells him to inform Bao he will close the hall, so they should stop troubling. Chang indirectly threatens about teacher Kin. Chadong warns him not to touch her. Chang laughs, chill buddy, we are friends. Why so angry? From distance, teacher Kin sees and misunderstands Chadong is back to bad work. Hee-jun, Hao, and Chadong discuss what to do, because now their loved ones are in danger. In 2026, demolition is next week. People are clearing area, even removing mailbox. Security guard sees. Nyen also sees on call. She asks him to take care for some days. Maybe ask Mion's help too. Later, Hao meets Nyen and Chung. He says Hee-jun cannot be responsible for Hang's death, because for her, he was already dead for 30 years. When I came out of jail in 1996, I heard Hee-jun was still inside. I met him. He told me to tell Hang he is dead, so she won't waste her life waiting. Ching asks, was there no one else close to them? Hao says, Hee-jun was orphan, but Hang's father Ibo was a drunkard, not worth being called father. If Hee-jun wasn't there, Ibo would have killed Hang long ago. Then he tells about the incident where Chadong ended up in jail. Bao and his men never stopped provoking. One day, when Hao was absent, they harassed Jinju and her grandma, broke food stall. People only stood watching. Bookstore owner tried to stop, but got beaten too and his shop destroyed. He closed his store. Hang cried, blaming herself. Shop owner said, it's not your fault or mine. This place is bad. I have no option but to hide. But you can leave, so study well. When Hee-jun and Hao learn what Bao's men did to Jinju and her grandma, they take weapons to fight. Hang and teacher Kin could be next. But Chadong stops them, says killing is no small thing. Their whole life will be ruined, and those who depend on them will suffer. He says he will handle Bao himself. Chadong goes to Bao, asks how much money to stop trouble. He is ready to pay. But Bao doesn't want money. He wants them to do one job. After that, he promises never to bother. Chadong believes him. Leaving, Chang asks Chadong for lighter. Chadong gives. Chang secretly puts it in a packet, planning to trap them. Chadong tells Ijun and how about the job delivering crate. But they don't trust Bao. They don't know what's inside. Chadong says, don't think, just do it. then everything will end. He meets Shinju. She had waited for him to return to right path. He gives her money back, says, "Don't wait for me." She asks, "Why? Something is going to happen? You started bad work again." He says, "No, I left that road. I still feel happy remembering the time with you, but I cannot make you wait anymore." At night, Ijun sits outside alone. Hang asks, "What happened?" He says, "I'm just scared. Maybe something bad will happen. Maybe my bad luck will pull you too." She says, "When was I ever scared of bad luck? And when you are with me, why be afraid?" Next day, they leave in a van with goods. On the way, Shinju sees them. Rain falls heavily. Hang takes umbrella and goes out. She asks about Heejun. They tell her he went with how to unload goods at the dock, but she found out no ship was coming today. So she starts worrying. Someone tells her they saw him going with Hao and Chadong toward the Tsihai factory. There, the three arrive. Outside, Chadong is guarding, while inside Heejun and Hao sit with the crate. But something feels wrong. Heejun opens a crate. In 2 crates, there are only bricks, but in 1 crate, Shin is there, tied up, injured, with a cloth on his mouth. They quickly check and see that he is alive. Heejun removes the cloth and asks, "How did this happen?" Shin tells them that some people kidnapped him from his house, beat him badly, and locked him here. When Chadong sees they open the crate, he gets angry, saying this is very serious now. Only these 3 know about it, and if police get involved, Bao will escape clean while they all get blamed. Heejun says, "He is my classmate. If I tell him to stay quiet, he will listen to me." But soon Bao learns that Shin's father has already gone to the police station. Before they can take Shin away, Bao arrives with his men and ties everyone up. He blames Chadong and threatens, "Now no one will escape from here." Chadong says, "If it's like that, then let me kill him. Just let my men go." Heejun stops him, calling Bao a disgusting man. Bao gets furious, stabs Hao's leg, and then gives an option. Either all of you die here, or leave Heejun behind with Shin. Heejun begs Chadong to take Hao to the hospital, but Hao cries and screams, "I will not leave Jun here like this." Chadong knows if Hao stays, he will also die, so he drags him away by force. Bao's men set fire to the warehouse. Outside, Hao and Chadong are also attacked by Bao's men. Inside, Heejun had hidden a blade in his mouth. He passes it to Shin to cut the ropes, but Shin drops it. Just then, Hang arrives. She jumps into the fire to save Heejun. Flames burn her hands, but she doesn't care. She unties Heejun's ropes, even when he keeps shouting, "Go away. Leave now." She doesn't listen. Meanwhile, Chung throws Chadong's lighter on the ground so that police will think all this fire was their crime. When Chung sees Shin, Hang, and Heejun escaping, he and his men chase after them. Chadong tells Hao, "Go call the police," and both of them fight Bao together. Finally, the police arrive. In 2026, Hao explains that after this incident, both he and Chadong went to jail for Shin's kidnapping case and for stabbing Bao. Hang risked her life to save Heejun, never caring about herself. And Heejun too. He was just the same. For them, each other was family. Back in 1991, at the police station, Hang waits for Heejun's release. She tells the officers, Heejun did nothing wrong. He even saved Shin's life. Shin also blames his own father, saying that because of his father's enmity with Bao and not paying the ransom money, he almost lost his life. When Shin leaves with his parents, Hang stops him. With tears, she pleads, "For humanity's sake, tell the police the truth." Only then can Heejun be released. Shin listens. He tells the officers, "Heejun didn't kidnap me. He tried to save me." Still, Heejun remains in custody for a while. Police ask Hang to go treat her burned hands first, but she refuses to leave. Then teacher Kim arrives, comforts her, and somehow takes her to the hospital. In 2026, Peshing City prepares for demolition. The mailbox will be removed in 3 days. Back to the past. When Hang's mother ran away, the whole neighborhood gossiped. Aibo always told Hang that her mother ran away with another man, leaving them behind. At present, after so many days of waiting, Hang finally sees Heejun walk out of detention. Looking at her burned hands, he says, "Sorry." They both return home, ready for a new beginning. But Chadong and Hao are still in jail. Jean hires a lawyer for them, yet they will have to stay inside for some more time. Their billiard hall is also gone. One day, Shin comes to meet Heejun. He tells him his mother even tried to speak at school for Hang, but because of Heejun's detention record, nothing worked. Heejun says, "It's okay. I'm already searching for a job to support Hang's studies." Shin suggests working at his father's nightclub, but Heejun refuses. He wants to earn money in a clean way. Shin then says, "My mother arranged a tutor. Why not send Hang there?" With this, she can easily pass her college entrance exam. Heejun cannot refuse. Hang becomes happy, saying now she can finally enter a top college. Heejun tells her, "From now on, just focus fully on your studies. I will earn the money. Later, we will travel to nice places." "Where do you want to go?" She says, "A place where it snows." Hee-jun starts working at the dock, loading and unloading cargo, even asking for extra shifts to earn more money. Whenever leftover stock is available, workers can buy it. One day, Hee-jun buys 2 boxes of cookies. Hang suggests, when these boxes are empty, we'll use them as storage. One for you, one for me. Next day, when Hee-jun goes to throw scrap metal into the garbage, he sees the same orange mailbox cat sitting on the old red mailbox. He takes the mailbox home, repairs it, and places it outside near the bookstore. One evening, when he comes to pick Hang, he sees her talking with Shin and feels jealous. Hang quickly explains, Shin doesn't like me. He likes Yulan. Since I'm her friend, he only asks me about her. Hearing this, Hee-jun feels relieved. That night, they sit together writing letters. Hang writes, Hee-jun is a good man. He will never hurt me. At the same time, Hee-jun asks her son's letter, what is your father's full name? Does he keep your mother happy? The next day, Shin's father, Gwang, comes to give them money as thanks for saving his son. But they refuse. He then says he knew Hang's mother long ago. They were good friends. He recalls, once he tried to steal money from the factory, but Hang's mother stopped him and even saved him from getting caught. She never asked for anything in return. Only he forced her to accept some milk packets. That day was when Aibo saw his wife with another man, Gwang himself. Later, Hang's mother once asked him for 2 boat tickets. He arranged everything, but she never came that day. Worried, he went to her house, pretending as a loan shark, and found Aibo was gambling heavily. Once, he even lost 1,000 yuan. The same amount that went missing from the factory. Before leaving, Gwang says, once your mother saved me. Now you saved my son. If you ever need my help, just ask. Hang remembers that day when her mother secretly placed the boat tickets in her hand, telling her to come in coded words. She was supposed to reach by 11 o'clock, but little Hang was 10 minutes late. When she arrived, her mother was gone. She always thought her mother left without waiting, but now it feels suspicious. She starts doubting Aibo. In 2026, Nyen and Chung are at the demolition site, asking the security guard. News comes about him. Both of them say that they will try to come there as soon as possible. At that time, Nyen gets a call from police. They tell that her dad, Jing, is found. Officers got news from cemetery that one man is sitting there since long time, not going back. When they reached, his condition was very bad. Now in hospital, Nyen comes with this hope that finally her dad is with her. But from there also he was missing. At that time, Hee-jun again had gone to the cemetery. Slowly his eyes start to close. Then he sees Hang in front of him who holds his hand and takes him to some snowy world. There they dance, sway, holding each other's hand. Like this is their happy ending. When Nyen and Chung reach there, they find Hee-jun unconscious. Nyen holds him and starts crying. After that, both of them shift Hang and Hee-jun's graves side by side, so at least in that world they can be together. Back to 1991. Aibo is sitting in some restaurant. At that time on TV news comes that the deserted foothill place will now become a resort, and soon reconstruction work will start. Hearing this, his face color changes. He scaredly goes to some man named Lee and gives him some work. Hee-jun, who is loading things on donkey, sees Aibo from far. He follows him, but Aibo escapes on his motorbike. Hee-jun runs to Hang to tell her and warns her to stay careful from Aibo. In Beijing, the security guard finds a letter from 1991. Police also found a man's dead body near the mountain, washed away here. They call Captain Chen in police station, show him Aibo's photo, and tell that he is Hang's dad, and he died on the same day when her mother died. Also, in 1991, Hang filed missing report of Aibo, but police could not find his trace. Chung tells them he wants to see 1991 case file, now seen of 2026. Hang was going to Hee-jun's grave on his birthday. On the way, she sees Aibo, who has become very old, working as garbage picker on roadside. She takes him in her car and asks about her mother. Inside her heart, she already guessed what he did with her mother. But when he himself admits that yes, he killed her mother the day she wanted to leave him and run with another man. Hang, red in anger, tells him her mother wanted to run with her. But Aibo still had no regret. Even he is not scared if Hang reports to police because he is old, sick, and for him jail will be like a hotel where he will get free food and water. So Hang speeds up the car and drives angrily. Back to 1991. Hang is returning from tuition with Shin when she sees her father on the road and runs behind him. Meanwhile, Chung is thinking about changing past, even if his existence is erased and he does not exist in future, because from 1991 case file, he already knew what is going to happen that day and whom Hee-jun will kill. But Yen refuses him to do such sacrifice. Chung says why not? Mailbox came to them for this reason only, so they can save both from suffering. She says no, we will find some other way. day and takes away his passport and runs. In Beijing also, people came to remove mailbox. Security guard and Mian are worried. Then guard gets message from Cheng. He wrote something and said he cannot reach there on time, so they should send this letter, but they don't have pen. So Mian gives him her eyebrow pencil to write. After that, water falls on paper from guard's hand. Only a torn small piece of paper remains. Hee-jun comes near the bookstore, waiting for Hang as she said they would check the mailbox together. But Hang does not come, so he himself opens and checks it. It was empty. He locks it again and goes to find Hang. In 2026, that letter is carried to the mailbox. The security guard tries to stop the men. Mian runs and delivers the letter. Hee-jun, who was returning, sees the orange cat in front of him, takes a U-turn, opens the mailbox and reads the paper. It was written, "Don't go to Foothill," and "Don't kill anyone on November 30th. At that time, Shin comes and tells him Hang is running behind some motorbike man. Hee-jun asks what the date is. Shin says November 30th. Hee-jun tells him to call the police and himself runs there. Hang reaches Foothill and sees her mother's hair clip fallen there. Later, she sees Aibo carrying something in a sack. When Aibo sees her, he tells Lee to kill her also. At that time, Hee-jun comes and starts fighting both. In anger, he is about to stab Lee also, but then he remembers the words written in the letter and controls himself. Lee tries to hurt him, but in that moment Shin comes with the police and the accident is avoided. Next, we see Nyen, who wakes up from sleep. She sees the orange cat in front. When she searches her dad in contact, he has disappeared. Then she sees Cheng's number. It was there. That means he exists in 2026. It means he was not Hang's biological son. Finally, she also receives the last letter of Hang and Hee-jun, which they wrote to Nyen and Cheng. They say that day Hee-jun did not kill anyone. Also, Hang went to college. Finally, both left Mevin town. Even if they did not meet her, for them she became like family. They hope destiny will make them meet one day. And here the drama ends.